My name is Astra Aker, and I'm a staff chaplain at Carolinas Medical Center in the emergency department. Since the pandemic has happened, it has been very scary. It was very scary initially because we didn't know anything about COVID. We didn't know how it was caused. We didn't know the best way to protect ourselves. You know, we just had to kind of go by what the CDC was saying, the WHO was saying, what we needed to do. And so we did that and prayed every day that we remained safe so that we could go home to our families. And then the vaccine came out, and so we were able to take the vaccine and started to experience what I would say would be somewhat of a breath, so to speak, where we didn't have to feel so stressed and so scared about every single person that was coming into the emergency room, every place that we went. I started to see less and less of those doors with the signs on them, talking about the precautions that we would have to take because they were positive or under investigation, what we called. And so as we start to see less and less of those doors, I didn't have to wear my N95 all day long. I still had to wear my surgical mask, but that was a major thing. Started to feel like we could get back to some semblance of normalcy.
My name is Toya Worthen. I'm a pharmacist with Walmart, and earlier this year in February, I contracted COVID. Now, I was supposed to get the shot on the same day that I found out that I was positive, but if I can be honest with you, I delayed a little on getting the shot. I could have gotten it in January, but I said, okay, I'll wait when we get them in the pharmacy for ourselves. And then part of me was like, oh, this hasn't been out long enough. I was worried about the conspiracy theory, you know. I'm like, I don't know if I want to get this. I had some concerns, and then I got COVID before I had a chance to get it, and the shot. And that was a horrible experience. First, I got pneumonia, and that was touch and go for about 2 weeks. And when I thought that I was getting better, I found out that I had heart issues. I had myocarditis, which is inflammation of the muscle in the heart, and some swelling around the brains. So I ended up having like Parkinson's type tremors. And I had severe headaches, so bad it felt like somebody would be pounding my head with a rock. But the heart part was the worst. Had high blood pressure. One day my blood pressure was like 190 over 120. It was painful. It was scary. And prior to contracting COVID-19, I was perfectly healthy, 49 years old, no high blood pressure, no diabetes, no cholesterol, nothing, no issues, some seasonal allergies, that's it. So even when I found out I was positive, at first I was like, oh, we're about to watch Netflix for 2 weeks because the whole house was positive. But I had the worst case in the house for sure. And if I had it to do all over again, I would have made the time to get that vaccination in January, because I had no idea that I would have been in for such a, I'm not going to say a bad ride, but a horrible experience.
Now it seems that the trajectory has changed. We are turning a corner, but not the corner that we wanted to turn, right? We are turning a corner where those numbers literally went from really low to like really high in like a matter of a couple of weeks. Now I'm back to wearing an N95 for 9 to 10 hours a day because there are so many people coming back in with this variant, and they're sicker and they're younger and they are more my age, and it's becoming scary again, all over, again.
And the thing about it is, people talk about not wanting to have this foreign substance in their body, this vaccine, but the odds are very high for you contracting COVID-19. I think it's about 75% now with the variants, and I was double masked, sometimes triple masked. I was spraying everything, super paranoid, wiping everything down, gloves on all the time. For us to end up getting it as careful as we were and as protective as we were, I just, now when people say I don't want this vaccine in my body, well, now I have a virus. Viruses can lay dormant, they can come back. So regardless, I would rather have had a little bit of mRNA in the vaccine than to have the actual virus and hope that I have no ill effects from that down the road.
If we are going to get past this, we have to be vaccinated. Vaccinations are not new. I mean, we've had vaccinations since, I was, before I was born, vaccinations have helped to eradicate certain illnesses that my grandparents had to deal with and we don't have to worry about anymore. And so vaccinations aren't new, but they're necessary. For us to be able to be safe, for us to be able to walk around without masks and do the things that we want to do. They're safe, they're effective. My whole family is vaccinated because it's important. The people that I see come into the hospital that are sick right now are the unvaccinated people. Have there been some vaccinated people that have come into the hospital being sick? Absolutely. But you're going to look at maybe a couple of vaccinated people that don't really have the symptoms that would keep them in the hospital or send them to the ICU versus, counting on both hands and both feet the number of unvaccinated people that are coming in that are having to go to the ICU, that are in a lot of pain and are suffering a lot. But as I really dug into the research myself and actually asked doctors that were, really involved in the research and trying to help everybody else so that we would be able to understand, as I got more understanding, and as I kept seeing people come into the hospital sicker and sicker, and even having experienced a family member die from this, I was like, I've taken vaccines before. I can do this. There are side effects to everything. There's side effects to medication we take on a regular basis. You take an ibuprofen for your headache. There's a side effect to ibuprofen. You may not experience it, but there are side effects to it. But God gives wisdom to people to formulate these things to help us. And so we decided to take it, and I have not regretted it one single bit.
From the spiritual perspective, every day that we wake up on this side of Zion, and I don't take that for granted anymore. Every day that God allows us to wake up, He's giving us another chance. He's giving us another shot. And I simply tell people, if God is giving you another shot, don't waste your shot. Please go get your vaccine and get it now. Don't wait. Don't delay. Let's see what happens with people. Don't waste your shot.
When you come into the emergency room, you have an emergency, right? So you might be having a stroke, you might have a heart attack, whatever the case may be. You come into that room, you're not asking them, what medication are you hanging? What medication are you giving me? What are you doing? Nobody's asking that. Everybody just wants you to save their life. And so they don't care what medication you're putting up there. They don't care what the side effects are to that medication at that particular time. They just want you to save their life. And so the doc was talking about that, and the fact that, people come in and they trust my training, they trust my judgment to do what I feel is effective and necessary to help them live. But when I use my training and I use my judgment to tell them that this vaccination is going to help them live, all of a sudden I'm questioned. And that was like, that was really a light bulb for me, because it's true. It's like when you come in, half the people don't even know what's going on, and so the benefit outweighs the risk. There's risk to everything that we do, but the benefit of this vaccination outweighs any kind of risk that would be involved, whether it's a sore arm or whether it's I'm going to feel achy for 24 hours. that the benefit truly outweighs that.